kill a suspect on board an RTD bus. What led to the confrontation on board, surrounded by passengers. Crime on the increase here in Colorado. A new study outlining crime hotspots here in the state. How we compare to the rest of the country. Plus, the Broncos run over by the winless Raiders. And the losses go beyond just the scoreboard. The injury concerns just a few days before their next game. And we'll have much more on that breaking news involving the major injury news to the Denver Broncos coming up in just a few minutes. Thanks so much for joining us here on Denver 7 News at 11. I'm Jason Grenauer. We begin today with police who shot and killed a man armed with a knife who was on board an RTD bus in Aurora. Police confronted him after he robbed a convenience store with a knife and ran onto a bus full of passengers in Aurora last night. Now, overnight, police said the suspect lived at a nearby halfway house. Officers used their tasers, released a police dog, and ultimately fired their weapons. No police or people on that bus were hurt. Now, we're also learning more about a shooting on the hill just off of CU Boulder's campus that was caught on camera. Take a look at this. You can see a man who pulls out a gun and then fires at least 2 shots. Eventually the camera will get to him, and there's a shooting going on right there. There he is with that firearm, and you can see him shoot and then run away. Boulder police say officers were nearby, and when they responded, people were still actively shooting. Now, one officer fired his weapon, and one suspect, a man, was shot in the arm. He's expected to be okay. No officers or bystanders, luckily, were injured. No one else was injured, but at least 3 other suspects are still on the loose. We spoke with a student at CU who says he shot the video that's been shared all over social media.
It's scary, I'm fearing for my life almost, even though they weren't, trying to aim at us. I've never had an experience like that in my life where someone's trying to kill somebody right in front of me. Not in Colorado, not ever, not anywhere else.
And we don't know right now if the suspects knew each other or if this incident involved any students. The officer who fired his weapon is on paid administrative leave per Boulder police policy. The critical incident response team is investigating this incident. Now, there will be a community rally on the steps of the state capitol to draw attention to police shootings later on today. And all new this morning, we're getting a new look at new analysis on Colorado's surge in crime. Denver 7's Veronica Acosta has a look at how violent and drug crimes are trending up.
More cars are being stolen, more homes and buildings are being set on fire. Those are just 2 of the 7 crimes that this report says there have been an increase in out of 7 so far this year right here in Colorado. So I just mentioned car thefts and arson. We know robbery is another one there. Buying stolen property, vandalism, prostitution and pandering, drug possession and sales, and homelessness round out that list of 7 categories. The report was done by a group called the Common Sense Institute. A couple of crimes really stuck out at it. Car thefts, like I mentioned, being one of them that we've heard so much about this year. The report found there was a more than 13% increase in these kinds of crimes this year right here in our home state. It also found Colorado ranks 2nd in crimes against property in the U.S. And fentanyl, something else that we've heard so much about in the past couple of months. The report found law enforcement officers seized more fentanyl in the first 5 months of this year compared to all of last year. Listen to why one person who helped put this report together says the Common Sense Institute does this kind of work.
So the idea was initially to get some awareness out there, but also what we were trying to do is get the policy leaders to go back and look at the things they've done over the last 10 years to see if they could adjust those things.
For some context, Morrissey, who you just heard from, said their report back in 2021 showed that these kind of crimes and the increases in them had cost Coloradans about $30 billion. In Denver, I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Denver City Council leaders are considering a request to upgrade security at parks and recreation centers. This comes after a 14-year-old was shot and killed behind the Southwest Recreation Center in August. There were no security cameras at the rec center to help police find the killer. Now, police finally made an arrest yesterday, but neighbors are still concerned about the lack of security equipment.
Maybe cameras, because we don't have cameras here. Outside lights in the dark. So if, lights could come on, just security.
Parks and Rec now wants to spend an additional $1.6 million on security upgrades, including $900,000 on cameras at rec centers and other facilities that currently don't have that. If you like those cool, comfortable fall temps, this week is going to be pretty heavenly. Here's a live look from Lookout Mountain. Some clouds out there, some blue skies, kind of that cool morning haze out there. Denver 7's Katie LaSalle tracking the possibility, though, of some rain moving through a little bit later on today.
Yes, we are. Hi, Jason. It was a beautiful weekend, and for today, it's going to stay that way with just a little bit of moisture rolling in later on. You can see a live look up near the city of Vail. Leaves are popping. Hopefully, you've been out and about, getting to see some of those gorgeous golden colors into the mountains, and we picked up a little bit of snow. It's dry right now over Rocky Mountain National Park, but you can see Long's Peak covered in a light dusting of the white stuff. Here across the metro area, temperatures are in the 60s, air quality in good shape, and it's going to stay very fall-like for this first full week of October. 60s and 70s on our 7-day, and for Thursday night's Broncos game, it is going to be quite pleasant. A high of 70 degrees today. I'll take you through the full future cast when we can expect to see a little bit of light snow into the mountains and rain across the plains still to come.
All right, Katie, thank you. And a reminder for you, you can get 24/7 Colorado weather updates and live radar on your TV. Just download the free Denver 7 Plus app for your favorite streaming device. October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and today people in Denver are hitting the streets to raise awareness for a big problem in our community. Denver 7's Brandon Richard has much more on today's event.
Well, that walk set to get underway here in about half an hour at the Rose Andom Center. Denver Mayor Michael Hancock, who lost a sister to domestic violence years ago, will help lead the 1-mile walk along with survivors of domestic violence, advocates, as well as family and friends who want to be here to show their support. Now, the Rose Andom Center does a lot of important work in the community. They connect survivors of domestic violence to important community resources like counseling, medical care, and legal help. They help survivors plan a path towards safety. Now, the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence says 36% of Colorado women and 30% of Colorado men experience intimate partner physical violence. Margaret Abrams, the executive director of the Rose Andom Center, told us it's a problem that cannot be ignored.
It's a very important issue that often is hard for folks to talk about. So that's part of the goal of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, is to really shine a light on domestic violence as an issue and how we as a community can come forward and help address this.
And she says survivors of domestic violence will be on hand to share their stories to hopefully inspire others. Again, that walk set to take place here in about 30 minutes at the Rose Andom Center. Reporting in Denver, Brandon Richard, Denver 7.
Some breaking news on the Broncos front. Denver 7 Broncos insider Troy Rank reports Broncos running back Javonte Williams tore his ACL in the game with the Raiders yesterday. That information coming per source. Now, that would mean the team's running back is done for the season. That was just one of the losses the team had yesterday in Las Vegas against the Raiders. Here's Denver 7 sports director Lionel Bienvenu.
Well, the Broncos just can't put it all together yet. I think they will at some point, but for right now, 4 games into the season, we've seen flashes of brilliance and flashes of absolutely awful. Great passing game, bad running game. Great defense, bad defense. So here we sit at 2-2 after Sunday's loss to the Raiders. They are not a winning team, they are not a losing team, but they're right in the middle of it all. As we say every week, good, bad, and ugly. The good was Russell Wilson, best game as a Bronco. 2 touchdown passes in Vegas, no interceptions, rating of 124.9, ran for a touchdown too. Broncos scored over 20 points for the first time this season. The bad was Melvin Gordon, fumbled for the 4th game in a row this season. It was returned for a touchdown. And the ugly was the Broncos defense. Top 3 defense, they got bulldozed by the Raiders, 212 yards rushing. 31-23 the final, but Russ said after, things are still coming together, and he's looking forward to the short week and Thursday night's game against the Colts.
We got a lot of season left, man. What a gift. We got a lot of season left. We can respond the right way. And that's what we're going to do. There is no other way. There's no other option. That's what we're going to do, and I look forward to it. I look forward to how these guys show up tonight on the plane, studying the film, and then how we get there back to Denver, back home, and get ready to go on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And it's just the beginning. It's just the start of everything. So we'll be ready to roll.
All right, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. That's the same deal with the Broncos. Leave this one behind in Vegas, move on to the next one. And that is Thursday night primetime football right here on Denver 7. Broncos and Colts. Pre-game coverage starts at 5 o'clock. Denver 7 is your home for Broncos primetime Thursday night football.
And of course, stick with us for reaction and analysis throughout the day here on Denver 7. Again, the news just breaking. Denver 7, Broncos insider Troy Rank reporting running back Javonte Williams out for the season with an ACL injury. So the team will be without their starting running back, turning to Melvin Gordon, as Lionel said, who has those fumbling problems. In just a couple nights, Thursday, 6:15, you can see that game. Again, Thursday Night Football, the only broadcast channel to have it right here on Denver 7. Our coverage begins at 5 o'clock. Then stick around after for our post-game coverage. SpaceX set to launch its 5th crewed mission to the International Space Station later this week. The international venture getting us one step further or closer to visiting Mars. Plus, the death toll is rising from Hurricane Ian. Millions still without power. The latest on rescue operations still underway in Florida and the Carolinas.